Hello anybody and welcome back to Let's Play Donkey Kong Country 3 Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and in the last episode we beat up Mechanos, bringing us to the halfway point of the game. And in today's episode we're going to start off by entering a code. And you might be wondering, what code are we going to be entering? Well, first things first, as we change the code, or at least as we reset the game, we're going to go back to the classic pink and blue colors, although I really very much did like the green and purple. I'm a big fan of those colors, so you know. And the code, as you might be able to guess by now, is Mary. We got the confirmation noise, and you might be wondering, what does that code do? Well, that's going to be for us to see coming up shortly. It does fit thematically, though, with the world that we're going to, and the world I ended at last time, K3. The fifth world of the game and a snowy world, in which we are soon going to see what exactly it is that code did. So starting with the next world in this snow world, or the first level of this snow world, we're not explicitly going to be getting snow. Instead, we're starting an entirely new level type, known as the cliffs. As you can see, the cliffs are pretty much exactly what they look like. These menacing giant formations in the earth with some very good music that we're going to be listening to. I'm going to be just checking over here in order to get these bonuses. But the gimmick of this level is pretty much going to be climbing on these ropes and these clasps. Whereas in the first level we saw them, they just followed predetermined patterns. In this level, they will stalk you back and forth across the ropes, and that makes them a lot more threatening. That doesn't make them super threatening though, just as long as you're quick on the draw, you are pretty well able to handle it. And this is like the best part of the song, so listen up. The reason I didn't go in the bonus barrels is because I didn't want to interrupt that part of the song, but it doesn't matter because we got to hear it, and now we get to see the bonus level. Which, if you're listening carefully, there's something new about it, because we used the thing, the code. The music has changed to a more merry holiday tune, and the collectibles have changed from stars to ornaments. The whole gimmick of this challenge, as you can see, is that you have to collect them as the clasp is stalking you back and forth. So that's like a little challenging, but you know, just as long as you keep in motion from left to right, it's not something that should be too terribly difficult to manage. Now, I was able to get that 1-up balloon by just jumping from the bottom, but the easier way to get it is to jump down here after you climb up to the top. That's the easiest way to get at it. It appears that my controller has... There we go. For some reason, my controller just suddenly stopped working. You probably think I'm full of crap, but it is the truth, I swear. We're just going to jump up here, avoiding the TNT clasps. I mean, there's no other kind of clasp. They're all TNT clasps. And keep climbing up. The nice thing about this cliff level is that even though it is a cliff level, there are no bottomless pits to worry about, so that's very nice. And over here, in this pretty obvious place, is a coin. You can throw it up, but it's not going to bounce up there. What you need to do is you need to throw it up so it bounces, and then you have to hit him with it as it comes. This is actually pretty challenging to do, and one of the more challenging barrels in the game, or one of the more challenging coins in the game to deal with. Your best way of dealing with this, actually, is if you use your attack on the ground, your ponytail whip, or Kiddy Kong's own somersault, in order to gain a little more momentum in order to get where you need to go. So we're almost gotta get the barrel to bounce in the right place. And that didn't do it. We are gonna get this guy, though. There we go. It did look a little weird because it kind of hit the front of his shield and then it didn't seem to hit him, but the attack registered while he was turning around, so it was still in effect as he was turning. At least that's what it looked like happened, but I'm not going to complain. If I'm doing that the wrong way and you, viewer, happen to know a better way of getting that coin, please let me know, because that has always been one of the hardest coins for me to get in the game. But now we've come over here to where that N was, and past this green guy who is completely out of place in this level with TNT, we are just going to be, come up here and get the bonus barrel. Your hint is that the bananas continue to go up with the N, so it kind of hints that there's something up there. Now you might be tempted to go over to the left here, but it's... well, that was lame. However, if you do fail that minigame, it is pretty hard to get back down to where you need to go. As you can see, I blew up down there, so that sucked. And now I can't really get back up there as easy as I could before. So my main hope is that I find another DK barrel to use, and then I use that to come back down. Which shouldn't theoretically be too hard, but there's a buzz in the way over there, so it's not easy. But we'll be able to take advantage of that death to basically go back and get what we need, so I'll see you there. And now we're back in the bonus level. These guys are pretty tricky to get around. You just need to build up enough momentum, and then when you're ready, you just gotta move as quickly as you can, get that bonus coin. And here we are. Funny thing about the cheery holiday music that plays in the bonus levels is that when you fail, it plays the standard death music, but the holiday tune. And when you win, it plays the level complete music, just in the holiday tune. So if I had to guess what was going on there, is that they composed the holiday music as a theme for a level type that was never used. Maybe they were planning it for the snow level, but then they ended up going with the different one that they ended up using, but they still had this, holiday track, so they thought, what the hell, let's use it for something nice and fun, and they used it for the Merry cheat code. I could see that. That makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know if it's true or not, but I like that explanation. I do believe we're getting close to the end of the level now, which, the G pretty much forecast us landing right on the rope and ending up the level, so that was pretty nice, That's the nice thing about the Kong letters, I think, in general, is that they're not just there for getting an extra life, but they're also really good markers for the pacing of the level, more so than the checkpoint barrel, because the Kong letters are kind of like, they divide the level into quarters, and it gives you a good feeling of how far you went. When you get that G, you can confidently feel, yeah, I'm getting close to the end of the level. But I'm kind of rambling on, and now we're going to go on to Wrinkly's Save Cave. We're not going to save the game, I just want to visit.
I'm glad Cranky doesn't know about this new console. If he did, I'd never be able to get him off it.
And we're gonna leave.
When crossing the jungle, remember to look left, right, and then up for falling monkeys.
I don't know what that's a reference to, but it is kind of cute and silly. That all said and done, though, we are going to be getting on to the next level of this world, Tearaway Toboggan, in which we're going to the snow world, but we get this menacing music. And it is a toboggan level again, but before that, we, as you can see, had to go and hit that bonus barrel hidden down in that corner. And for this bonus, you don't want to jump on these knickknacks. You want to throw one of your Kongs at them. And that's pretty much how you do that. Your main hint for doing that is that you get a DK barrel for that, so that is the intended way of doing it. It's very hard to jump on top of them. But now we're to the level itself, the quote-unquote minecart level of this game. I do think it's really cool that they veered away from minecarts and they just went to this. I mean, in the second game, they were like roller coasters, so that was a really good twist too. And the change to toboggans was also a really cute touch, and I'm a fan of that as well. It also works really well with the weather effects that come with the snow levels in the Donkey Kong Country games, which it was always really cool that these were the levels that they decided, yeah, let's have some foreground effects and background effects, and, well, it works really nicely, especially with the toboggan. It adds a lot of atmosphere to this very threatening level. This is also a bad level for Skiddas. They just get murdered en masse. If you slam into a wall, you die. That's a pretty hard bonus barrel to get because the arrow is your only indication it's coming up, and then you have to know to stay down and slightly jump over the buzz in order to get into it. It's tricky. It's very tricky to get. Thankfully, the game itself, the minigame itself, to get the ornaments, very easy. Very not that bad at all. And this should actually bring us pretty close to the end of the level. The warning sign is your hint that you were at the end. We're just gonna hit this big old bird. And the coin is waiting for us at the very end of the level. So, that was weird. We're gonna grab ourselves the keg, run along the snow, throw it, and get our DK coin, and that brings this tearaway toboggan level to a close. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Now, that second level is really short, so I'm gonna check the time to see if we have time for a third episode without going on too long. You know what, I think you've been good, so I'm gonna be going into barrel drop bounce. We're gonna be doing a third level this time around, and I hope you appreciate it, because, you know, it's so tiring and exhausting for me. So we return to the waterfall level, and it has a really nice aesthetic. I really like the cool blue waterfall with the pink and greens. The crimps here are very brutal, and they will, you know, try to kill you. It does come with the trappings of the previous, waterfall levels, in that you kind of have to jump around to figure out where things are. But it's pretty quick in the level that you discover that the coin is hiding right over here. So for the purposes of killing him, all you gotta do is throw the barrel up. You don't want to run too fast because you don't want to despawn the keg. And that's our DK coin for this level. Nice and quick and taken care of. However, it's going to be a little bit of a maze to get through the rest of this level, because if I remember correctly, it's a bit of a pain to find everything. Not this bonus barrel though, that's just kind of waiting right in the wings there, so that's a pretty easy one to find. I say, even though in a practice run of this level, I was not able to find it. So that's embarrassing. So for the holiday theme, the green bananas are replaced with presents. Makes sense, a present is worth more than an ornament. It's a nice touch, and I'm a big fan. The main thing is that as you're jumping on these barrels, which I have not talked about yet, which are the gimmick of this level, is it does feel like you're a little bit at risk of jumping off, or like slipping off the sides of the barrels, even though that's not the case. And it's kind of annoying when they keep putting it in the same bottom right place. That's kind of hard to get, but overall, not too bad. We had plenty of time to work with, and we were able to get that whole thing. So now we're going to continue on up through the level. The barrel gimmick is nice. It's very interesting, and it works well that they were able to tie it in with platforming, and also just, you know, the whole barrel theme that comes with Donkey Kong is how do we get downward platforms, is we use, barrels in a waterfall, like those crazy people who go over waterfalls in barrels and survive, and they do it for thrills, and it's absolutely terrifying to think about. It's not necessarily the most original concept if you think about it though. Using a waterfall as a justification for downward moving platforms is nothing new in platformers. They're at least as old as Super Mario Bros. 2, but I'm not knocking the idea at all, because it is a clever idea. Especially to use barrels for this, it is a perfectly fitting idea. It is a little bit tedious though if you fall off trying to climb back up, and I'm not faulting the game for that so much, but it is just kind of the consequence of vertical level design in general, and that might actually be one reason that this game, you know, isn't as popular as the other two games, is it has more vertical levels in general, and in its vertical levels, if you fall, particularly in waterfall levels, the biggest concern is that you lose a lot of progress if you fall just the wrong way, and that's very easy to do in these levels in this game, so that's just something to consider and think about. Very simple minigame we had to do there, just climbing up the descending barrels and getting the coin. Easy peasy, easy said and done. Now that will fire us up there, and we will land on that crimp. Poor guy, never had a chance. This is a little bit strange to time. The main advice is that you want the barrel to kind of be slightly below the bananas that are above it. And now we see a return of our friend Perry the Parallel Parakeet, who we have to take and save, quote-unquote save. We just need to get him to his exit sign, quote-unquote, without him dying. And it's not for a big reward in this level, but it is kind of fun, I guess, to try and keep him alive. It's very unsatisfying and very disheartening when he does die, though, because he does only die in one hit. And I mean, it's not a big deal because, as you can see, we were just able to take care of that just super easily. However, we were also able to get ourselves murdered. We're going to roll this barrel, killing one of the hedgehogs, but otherwise bringing this level to an end. I forget if there was something over to the right, but it doesn't matter because we have ended Barrel Drop Bounce and bringing 3 levels of this world to a close. So we've made some really good progress in today's episode. Did one more level than usual, and we're over halfway through K3 already. So if you want to see the end of K3 and the rest of, Donkey Kong Country 3, then I hope to see somebody in the next one. Bye-bye!